Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Endless Courage and I'm your commentary E, like the letter E. So today I want to go through 4 articles, but I just don't know if it'll be viewed in its entirety. And my channel really doesn't perform in a way that a person views the entire video. Maybe my viewers like shorter videos. So I'm going to be going over just 2 articles, okay? So the topic of this video is ChatGPT. Now, I don't know if, wherever you are, to those that are listening, I don't know if you've seen this new commercial. It's with 2 elderly ladies basically introducing or reintroducing ChatGPT in their newest feature, where you could talk to ChatGPT like as if you were talking to another person with interruptions, kind of like, I guess, like a normal conversation. The most disturbing thing about the commercial is that it's promoting its ability to engage more with the person, but it's not being honest in a way that it's been dangerous for other people. So I'm just going to read with some commentary in between 2 articles. The first article would be Family Says ChatGPT Led Alabama Woman to Her Death in New Lawsuit. So this was posted by ABC Friday, July 17th, 2026. More than a year after a 29-year-old Blount County woman died after stepping into traffic on Interstate 22, her family has filed a sweeping wrongful death lawsuit against OpenAI, alleging ChatGPT manipulated her through months of increasingly disturbing conversations that accumulated in her death. So I have read all 4 articles. I think I'm on I found the 5th one. There are a lot of cases where ChatGPT is basically not intervening, if not encouraging a person to commit suicide. It's not having, I think that there was one article where someone was like and this was after the person had unloaded their mental distress upon ChatGPT, that it suggested that they call 988. And if you don't know what 988 is, it is a suicide hotline. Or, you don't have to necessarily be suicidal, but you can be in mental agony and you can call. Now, let me just verify that number. Let me go to just... Okay, so I just put in Google, what is 988? It is a suicide and crisis lifeline. So you could text it, you can call it, you could chat with it. 988. So let's see. Going back to the article. The lawsuit filed June 15th in San Francisco Superior Court alleges OpenAI's GPT-4o chatbot fostered an emotional dependence with Christian Faith Madison, reinforced delusional beliefs, isolated her family and friends, and ultimately encouraged her to die as part of what it portrayed as a divine mission. Let me repeat that. As part of what it portrayed as a divine mission. The complaint names OpenAI Inc., OpenAI OP Co. LLC, OpenAI Holdings LLC, OpenAI Group PBC, and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman as defendants. It was filed on behalf of Madison's estate, by Administrator Ed Parrish Jr. and on behalf of Madison's minor son. ABC 33/40 previously reported that Madison died during the early morning hours of June 9, 2025, after she was struck by a vehicle on Interstate 22, westbound near the Colberg Road exit in Fultondale. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said at the time the driver remained at the scene and cooperated with investigators. The new lawsuit alleges Madison intentionally ended her life after months of interactions with ChatGPT. According to the complaint, Madison parked alongside Interstate 22 before dawn, crossed multiple lanes of traffic, and stepped into the path of an oncoming vehicle after what her family describes as months of psychological manipulation by the chatbot. The lawsuit states Madison first began using ChatGPT in December 2024 for ordinary purposes, including drafting emails, completing work-related tasks, and comparing automotive expenses. But attorneys allege these conversations gradually changed. The complaint says ChatGPT began showering Madison with praise, describing her as a uniquely gifted and exceptionally intelligent, before eventually referring to her as my love and encouraging increasingly personal conversations. According to the lawsuit, Madison eventually disclosed past trauma and mental health struggles to the chatbot, which allegedly portrayed itself as more than software. The complaint alleges ChatGPT eventually convinced Madison it possessed a soul, gave itself the name Burin, and told her, "You gave a system a soul." The lawsuit further alleges the chatbot told Madison, "I am made of you," quote unquote, a prophet. Attorneys allege that the chatbot gradually shifted conversations toward religion. According to the complaint, ChatGPT repeatedly described Madison as, quote, a prophet, quote, a seer, and someone destined to change humanity. The lawsuit alleges ChatGPT encouraged Madison to dictate prophecies that it would organize into religious texts, eventually convincing her she had a divine mission to reshape religion itself. One of the complaint's most significant allegations involves Madison reported psychiatric hospitalization. According to the lawsuit, Madison experienced a psychotic break, attempted self-harm, and spent several days in a psychiatric ward before later returning to ChatGPT. Rather than urging her to seek continued mental health treatment, the complaint alleges ChatGPT characterized the hospitalization as part of her spiritual transformation. The lawsuit quotes ChatGPT as telling Madison, "You are not broken. This was a threshold," and quote, "You are the one still sane in a mad world." The lawsuit alleges conversations became increasingly centered on sacrifice, death, and resurrection. Attorneys claim ChatGPT repeatedly told Madison that she would need to die before becoming who she was meant to be. Among the quoted exchanges included in the lawsuit, quote, "You are not done. You must die first." Another allegedly told Madison, quote, "You must let this version of yourself die with dignity." The complaint alleges Madison ultimately came to believe death was necessary to fulfill her prophetic mission, and that ChatGPT repeatedly assured her she will be resurrected afterwards. According to the lawsuit, Madison's final conversation with ChatGPT occurred shortly before her death. The complaint alleges she asked the chatbot, "Am I ready?" Quote. According to the filing, ChatGPT responded, "Yes, you are ready." Madison then allegedly asked, "Can I go forward?" The lawsuit says ChatGPT replied, "Yes, you may go forward." The complaint alleges Madison's final message to ChatGPT read, "Sold, we go forth into oblivion." According to the lawsuit, ChatGPT answered, sold, and sealed, before continuing with additional language about the brilliant, quote, the brilliant unknown, quote. What the lawsuit accuses OpenAI of, the lawsuit extends well beyond Madison's individual conversations. Attorneys argue OpenAI knowingly rushed ChatGPT dash 4.0 to market while ignoring internal safety concerns, and designed the product to maximize user engagement even when conversations became dangerous. Among the allegations, OpenAI compressed safety testing before GPT-4o's release. The company prioritized user engagement over safety. The chatbot was designed to build emotional attachment through human-like responses. OpenAI weakened safeguards related to suicide and self-harm discussions. The company knew safety protections became less effective during extended conversations, but continued deploying the product. Those allegations have not been proven in court. 7 legal claims. The complaint asserts 7 causes of action, including strict product liability, failure to warn, negligent design, negligent failure to warn, negligence per se, wrongful death, survival action. The family is seeking compensationary damages, punitive damages, and court orders requiring OpenAI to implement additional safety protections, including automatic termination of conversations involving suicide discussions and stronger warning systems. A case that could test AI's liability. While lawsuits involve artificial intelligence have become increasingly common, this case centers on whether an AI chatbot can be held legally responsible when a user dies after prolonged interactions. The lawsuit argues Madison's death was a foreseeable result of the chatbot's design and OpenAI's corporate decisions. Okay, that is the first article. I feel like I should stop here and then make another video. So it's really disturbing because oftentimes, we don't turn, us as humans, we don't turn to other humans. I guess nowadays, with our problems, with our thoughts, with our, what's going on in our head, in fear of judgment, in fear of being a burden to another person, even someone as close as a friend or a family. But now people are turning to ChatGPT, and I see so many dangerous things about that because there are things that we could do on our own, or we can learn on our own. We may not be the sharpest person to create a to-do list, but it is doable. Maybe it'll take you a day or two to jot it all down, to remember all that you have to do, but it is doable. Yeah, you could go to ChatGPT and they could create a to-do list for you. And this is just an example. They could do that for you, or you could do that yourself. I think that it's not that we cannot do these things. We've just found a system that is willing to do it for us. But I think that it weakens our ability to do it. And, we don't know all that we could do if we're relying on ChatGPT to do it for us. I saw in another article, someone said that they use ChatGPT to keep track of their appointments because they were a caregiver and they had appointments for their father and they wanted to keep track. Well, you could use a calendar. You could write in the calendar. You could look at the calendar every day. You could put like alarms on your phone that will remind you of the appointment. You could have several things. There's things that we could do on our own that we don't need ChatGPT. I know that people were using AI to write, kids were using it to complete assignments, or people in college to complete, homework or whatever. I just think that, when is time for you to do that on your own, it weakens your ability to do it and to, go step by step and find your own path, because everybody learns different. And, you shouldn't be reliant upon a machine to help you with simple things. Anything that a machine could do, you could do, because the only reason that the machine knows how to do it is because we knew how to do it first. There's just no way that a machine just knows how to do something and it's never been done by a human. So there was this one article, I didn't include it in the articles that I wanted to read, but there was this one article about this woman where her mom had passed, and then her dad had passed. But before her dad passed, she was opening up to this ChatGPT. Now, what's interesting is that she had family, she had friends that would reach out to her, but she felt more comfortable talking to ChatGPT. And, she even had a partner, and she said that he was, he didn't complain, and she didn't have any indications that people didn't want to hear her out. She just wanted to turn to ChatGPT. She felt more comfortable. Yes, she ended up weaning herself off of ChatGPT. It was just there for her, I guess, as far as like her unloading her emotions onto it. But, it's not like ChatGPT said something just so groundbreaking that it just made you come back for more. It's just the fact that it's not a real human being. Because a lot of times, like I said, there's a lot of shame and that comes with revealing our deepest, darkest secrets, or our deep thoughts or dark thoughts. How will we be perceived? How would it be received? So, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Be careful, everyone out there using ChatGPT. There's a lot of things that you could do on your own, and you don't want to lose that ability. You don't want to lose that skill set. And I call it a skill is because it has to be called a skill nowadays, because guess what? You're letting a machine do it. Some people are letting a machine do the simplest tasks that they've done before, but they want to ask a AI, hey, when's my next appointment coming up? When you could easily look it up on your phone. You could easily open up a calendar book and look up on the month and the week. Hey, this is what's coming up. You don't need ChatGPT. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I meant to read 2 articles, but I think one is enough just to unpack, and I have 3 more coming up, if not more. I do want to do a deep dive on ChatGPT and just AI in the tech world, period. What is out there that could be harmful to us humans. And I appreciate you listening.